as of late, specifically against Protoss, and against Zerg, he's been quite diverse in his play. We'll get into it. As spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the Teal Zerg player himself representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran himself representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. We're getting to our ZVT. Now, when it comes to Cure's play as of late, we have been seeing a lot of mech. We've been seeing a lot of mech, a lot of bio, a lot of aggressive builds as well, especially on smaller maps. I think it was last night or the night before, we saw just non-stop 2x Reaper, non-stop 2x Reapers. I think it was against Solar as well. Like, it was wild. the kind of play that we were seeing out of Cure. So we'll see. I believe that was during the KSL. Oh, wait, no, sorry, not during the KSL. During the... But all the tournaments blend together. During Kung Fu Cup, that's it. KFC, that's the other one. During the KFC. And we'll see how our players do adjust their approach. So now we have our hatch gas pool. Our initial standard openers. Likewise, racks expands. We'll be keeping an eye open here to see the timing of the third TC. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is one of the larger maps of the map pool. I'm a little bit surprised it's made it through the vetoes in a best of 3. I'll be honest. Ruby Rock typically has a very difficult to defend at 3rd and 4th location, and especially in ZVT, if the Zerg player gains map control, which they often do, it is very difficult to turtle up and to defend. I would say that there's a higher chance that I don't know. I was gonna say there's a higher chance that Cure goes for something like an 8 racks, but even then 8 racks they're kind of dead in the current meta. Like we rarely see them nowadays unless you gain a lead early on. The other option is to try to play mech, I suppose, but even then I still don't know if it's quite wise to do so on the Old Republic. We'll see. We shall see. Typically, the best defense is a good offense, and it would behoove Cure to just be hyper aggressive in the mid game to force Solar back, to allow Cure to expand. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. For now, Reaper. Reaper does move out. Does get eyes on the timing of the third. And confirming nothing crazy is going on. Nothing crazy. Minimal gas income. Oh, calm down. Threatens a dive. And can at least get one Zerglin kill. Not quite. Third CC on location. Okay. It's the Cure. A rare sight to see here, but some greed out of Cure. Going for that third CC. Beyond, is that you? I mean, it is a bit of a larger map, so quite confident play here by Cure. So far as keeping the Lings busy. Reaper does pull out. Does bob and weave. And behind is just 3cc into his own 1-1-1. Attack up on the racks, most likely into an add-on swap into Banshee play just to be safe. Otherwise, we could keep it on. Okay, Viking first. You have my attention. No add-on swap, no Banshees, which means he does have access to faster stim. Viking can hunt down the Overlords, and going for a Viking opener also means that you can hide your further tech. I just mentioned that Cure recently has been enjoying mech, so this also, and I'm sure Sol is fully aware of that as well, so this also does kind of like put Cure's build kind of like in a shroud of ambiguity where, I mean, there could be another factory on the way, there could be an add-on swap, there could be a delayed add-on swap here into delayed Banshee play, true, but it's going to be Viking into Liberator. And the Overlord is going to be hunted down. The Overlord will fall. We're still waiting for Stim to commence here. Curious. So we're actually committing into an extra pair of Hellions. Okay, there we go. Stim is on the way. Getting up to 8 Hellions. Cure threatening a dive. I say threat, he's just going for it. Oh my god. Yeah, let's commit the drones. No, they line up. Yeah, drones are lining up. Helis, they bust into the middle line, and drones are going to fall. Getting it to 5 drone kills so far. Thankfully, not too many. Lings, they do shut this down. That could have been disastrous here. 5 drones do fall. Whew. Could have been so much worse. Could have been a lot worse. Nice crisis management there out of Solar. Behind this, we have our extra Raxes getting into fire. Ooh, Viking does overextend. A bit of miscontrol here by Cure. As Cure was inattentive. We're getting into that mid game. Ooh, no Spore in the main. And no Spore, denies mining. No major damage. Solo going into a much faster Hydrogen though, okay. Quite tech heavy. Oh. Queens do maintain themselves, clutch transfuse. But typically with a fast, I mean, this is a Hydrogen before the upgrades. Yeah, +1 range is going to be on the way as well. Big commitment into Hydras, and this often does lead into Lurker tech. Oh, we're going to slow this down, aren't we? We're going to... Oh, no. We're going to slow this down. We have been seeing some 3-base Hydra all-ins out of Solar, but I feel like typically we go for an earlier Hydrogen. I think I want to say it does hit with 1/1, like +1 range and +1 melee. Yeah, he's getting a Baneling Nest, but I get a big delay on Banelings, a heavy commitment into Mass Hydra. Here's trying to be active. Solar setting up. Cure will not confirm the fast Hydras. Yep, now he knows. Now he sees. And this means that Cure, okay, I was going to say he could actually apply a little bit more pressure, but he does play it safe. He rotates. Bearing in mind that he knows now that upon seeing all those Hydras, he knows that there's going to be less Banelings. Does save his tanks. Just being active with Marines. And catching up 4 tumors. Respecting those Hydras. And building up his 4th. And just reinforcing with extra tanks. Keeping those rocks up. Now, ideally, you want to be keeping these Hellbats with the tanks themselves to protect them from a Hellion run-by, from a Hellion surround. Sorry, from a Link surround, I meant to say. But the rocks are still up. Does keep the Hellbats back. That's a lot of Hydras. That's a lot of Hydras, pappy. As Curious slowly gaining ground. Solo getting ready for the flank. Actually going for the counterattack, okay. He moves out across the map. Try to bait the Hydras within tank range. The Lings, they try to come in from behind. They hit the 4CC, not bad. I try to force a lift, and they will. It does force a lift. Delays the orbital. Solar, he's maxing out. Meanwhile, Curie's reinforcements are delayed. Once again, trying to bait the army in. Yeah, he got some tank shots. Here come the reinforcements. Getting up to 4 tanks in position. That's a lot of tanks. Solo with the surround. And I'm sure Q notices. A missing Link Bane. Speaking of Banelings, they hit the 3rd. Solo going for the 4th as well. That's a lot of tank shots going up there. Yeah, tank boys on the Hydras. Link Bane does catch reinforcements. 2 tanks going down. Oh, massive connections. The Banelings. The Banelings connect. What about the main army though? And Curie's all in. Cure, he's being forced all in. Pushing forward. Nice time to the Banelings. Kites back to his tanks. And Solar, he has no flanking army. Solar, who lose the expansion, but hey, he killed 37 SCVs across the map. These counterattacks have been brutal. Yeah, brutal run-bys. And killing the center expansion doesn't matter. It's not worth it. It's not yet. Cure, he rotates over. Another Bailing run-by. Oh, no, sorry, Ling run-by. Going for another counterattack, delaying the expansion. Keeping Cure busy. Curie turns back around. Ay, ay, ay. Curie's got to go. He's got to send it back. Now, bearing in mind, the soup is lying. In a sense, Cure, he has a massive army and he can still win a head-on fight. Ultra Caravan's just now finishing up. Hive Tech is on the way. Ultra's not really going to be a factor in this engagement, though. Cure can still kill. Oh, as Solar, his Lings are out on the open, out on the right-hand side. They race back home. Nice positioning here out of Cure. He's ready for the flank. Yeah, Lings, they collapse in. They get one tank. Nah, not even. The tank survives. There's a Blinding Cloud. But Curie's holding on to this position. And again, he's out trading. Oh, as Cure overextends. He does overextend, bleeds out a lot of Marines. Remember, he has to fight within range of his tanks. Oh no! Yes, some rough miscontrol. Some messy micro here by Cure. Snipes the Viper, very nice. Yeah, Kai's back, massive tank shots here on the Ultra. Ultra does go down. And the Hive just cannot push in. Remember, there's no kind of plating. 2 seconds. And 2 seconds away. Looking around by delay some mining here, but good reactions by Cure. And these Ultras, they now have the upgrade. Oh, they have some, but not all. And they still go down. The tank line here is brutal. We have 4 tanks, very nicely spread out. And Cure punishes. He punishes the Zerg army. Kills every single Ultra. This expansion's under fire. Not enough Ling Bane. Cure's on it. Cure, he breaks the base. He breaks on through at the same time across the map. GG gets called. Cure takes down the 4th and the 5th. And Cure takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We had some very nice run-bys and counterattacks out of Solar. I was very impressed. I thought that main push from Cure would just end the game and did break the expansion, but the run-bys and counterattacks were insane, crippling Cure, forcing him all in. Meanwhile, we saw Solar taking some really rough fights. We did see the initial engagement where he pushed in pre-Kindness plating, where he lost 2 Ultras trying to push into the tank line. Likewise, once again, we saw him try to engage into the brutal siege line there of Cure, and Cure took some very, very nice fights. The army back, focusing down these Ultras. We saw the Solar did overextend, and again, maybe was a little bit too over-eager to push in, especially pre-upgrades, right? Like the Hive was a little bit later, the Ultra upgrades were a little bit later, Adrenal as well was maybe a little bit over-eager, and GG. GG, Curie does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can claim the series here and now. So we're loading into Winter Madness. We spoke about this at the beginning of that game, if you recall, how the best defense is a good offense on the Old Republic, and that's what we saw, right? Like Cure, he was hyper aggressive. Once we got into the mid game, he refused to back off. He was applying a lot of pressure, and he made sure that Solar had a hard time in counterattacking. When he did, he was doing a lot of damage because we left so little back at home to defend. But when it came to the main army and the main engagement, Solar just could not quite engage. He only had the 1 Viper. That's also another factor as well, where the Viper never really came into play. We saw 1 good Blinding Cloud, but there was no follow-up. He blinded clouded the tanks, and then he retreated, so he wasn't quite able to take full advantage of those Vipers, and he got sniped before it could really get another spell off. GG. GG, well played. But here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Teal Zerg player representing Team Falcons. Down in the series, it is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the red Terran player, the South Green Terran. For Team Liquid, it is Cure. I wanted the Lankers back. Yada. I mean, Lurkers would have been a good way to be defensive to slow the game down. Clearly, Solo wanted to collapse on the tanks and break out, which I don't think is a bad thing to do, but as we were emphasizing, the Viper usage left much to be desired and didn't really impact the fights as much as they otherwise could have. I'm sure that would have been a big factor, of course, if it was able to keep the Viper alive or even get a second Viper out. But potentially. There we go. Here we go. We're getting game number 2 here. We're going to be loading into a much larger map. Now, this is where I'm concerned for Solar. Typically, now here on a larger map, on a more defensive map, this is where Cure is more favored when it comes to slowing things down, and claiming a third base, claiming a fourth, claiming a fifth base as well. This is where Cure can excel. This is where we typically do see a lot of late game on Winter Madness. As the Terran player can build up to 4 and 5 bases, the Zerg player can take the rest of the map. Is usually how things go. I will see if Solo wants to embrace that kind of late game. I mean, he might just have to. The other option, of course, is Mutaplay. True. As we spoke about in the ZVZ matchup, Mutaplay is a lot more accessible now with the earlier with the faster Spire. So we have seen an uptick in mutas, and we've seen a lot of that out of players like Shin. I don't know if Solar is one to embrace mutas in ZVT though. That I'm less certain of. Because I know he's been very fond of Hydras. I mean, hey, you saw last game, right? With Solar, he delayed his Banelings for very fast Hydra upgrades and Hydra tech. So we'll see. So we have our third CC before Starport. This time Curie going for the CC on the high ground, not on location. Being a little bit more sensible. Our last game was a Viking opener into Liberator. This time I would imagine we're going to be seeing a Banshee play. But eyes are on Cure. Oh, hello. As we don't go for the Outlaw, we're going for early Marauder production. So Viking opener to hunt down the Overlord to deny vision, into Marauders, into most likely Marauder Hellbats with an armory behind this. Oh boy. Very committed. Very aggressive build here by Cure. The aggression continues in a different way. Hellions perk out. Overlord attempts to scout, but the scout should be denied. Ooh, hello. We reveal the add-on swap. Oh, he swaps back over. I was curious. So Viking first into Marauders. He reveals an add-on swap to make it look like Banshees, and he swaps again, and it is going to be the Hellbat push. Let's go. Concussive shells on the way. Armory behind the main base mineral line, and nothing gets scouted. We're going for the Hellbats. We're going for the Marauders, and Solar has no idea. He's going to be wasting resources on spores. Spores are being thrown down as we speak. They will not help. Ay. And a higher chance might even delay Banelings here. Do we go double Evo Chamber again? Do we go Hydras again? It looks like we are. Lair's on the way. I don't see any chambers. Oh, sorry, I should say I don't see any tech, I meant to say. Yeah, he's going double Evo Chamber here, which means a delayed Baneliness, which means it's purely Link Queen defense. This might just end the game. This might just be game. Yeah, he sees. He knows. 24 Links in production, but I don't see Solar surviving this. How many Hellbats do we have? 12! 12 Hellbats, 3 Marauders. Curie's going for the kill. He's going for the dive. We do have a nice amount of Queens. But here we go. The Hellbats to push forward. Nice board positioning, zoning away the Medevac. Yeah, Medevac is zoned away. Lings, they cannot quite engage. Medevac does barely survive. Lings going for the Marauders. He's trying to. And Marauders, they kite back. Nice defense here. Surrounds the Hellbats. And Solar holds. Whew. Solar, he does hold on. Very clutch defense. Again, he was able to scout in the center of the map. I love the way he made use of his lings, holding the back until he could surround those marauders, and with that, Solar does hold on behind this. Remember, Kira does have a third TC. Remember, this was not an all-in, this was a macro Hellbat push. Now, there is a downside though. Because of the initial build, this does also mean that Metaphor production is more delayed. Stim is going to be delayed as well. Delayed eBays. This should be a stronger... I was going to say this should be a stronger mid-game for Solar. It should be. He is going no more Hydras once again, just like last time. Building up a heavy Hydra count, and the game will continue. We'll see if he goes for a Hydra all-in or Hydra timing attack. I would hope so. Like, just because Cure, he's had a shaky mid-game because of the commitment to Hellbats where he did not get into a mineral line, did not reset the queen count. It does mean that there should be a stronger window here for Solar. And we'll see if we can make use of it. We shall see. As Cure, he's being active. Solar joining up to 70. He does spot the Hydras. Cure cannot engage. And it looks like Solar, he should be moving out soon. Just waiting for his upgrades. Waiting for 1-1. Cure threatening to dive into the main. Solar, he ignores it. And Cure, he will have Stim to defend, but not much of an army here. At the same time, no Baliness, right? Yeah, true. It's purely Ling Hydra. Purely Ling Hydra, but that's a lot of Hydras. Solar moves out. Lings, they come in from behind. The wall's open. Yeah, the wall is wide open, and reinforcements get surrounded. Hydra starts stepping in. The boys are being pulled. Oh, and Cure, he should be overwhelmed here. He does get on top of the Hydras, though. Okay. He tries to get... no, not even. He tries to get on top. Solar does punish, 24 ACV kills, and Solar is just going for the kill, going for the throat. Thankfully, Solar did not rest on his laurels. Thankfully, did not drone up. Again, once he had the lead, he just went for a very strong +1 timing here with the Ling Hydra. And we're going to the ace match. Whew. We're going to the ace match. And again, it was a really fancy build out of Cure. Like, I loved what he did. Faking Banshee play, hiding the add-on swap, going back over. It was a lot of fun, but GG. GG gets called. Solar, he does defend, he does survive, he does tie up the series. Let's go. Let us go. We're going all the way to the ace match here, and we'll see how this story ends. It could still go either way. We're going to be loading into White Rabbit. And again, it was a really fancy build out of Cure, hiding it so well. Solar had no idea what was going on, by the way. He had no idea until he saw the Hellions and the Marauders in the center of the map. That did give him some precious seconds to make a wave of Zerglings. He made 24 Lings as a response. Likewise, the Queens were able to hold the line. Really nice positioning with the Spore as well to zone away the medevac. It was a very nice last-second defense there by Cure. Sorry, by Solar. GG. GG, well played. As we are now getting into game number 3, getting into the ace match here and spawning in the right-hand corner of White Rabbits. We have the Teal Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Solar. Tying up the series. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Red Terran player from South Korea, representing Team Liquid. It is Kyor. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting to the ace match here, we're going to be loading into White Rabbit. White Rabbit is another one of these larger maps of the map pool. Larger map, longer rushes and spike grounds. I will say the bases are a little bit more spread out. There is a way to kind of expand towards the center and get your 4-base setup up and running. We'll see how Cure will adjust though, because Cure's been quite aggressive this series. Last game, of course, we had the hidden Hellbat Marauder push. That is true, with a third CC behind it. In game 1, we saw again heavy aggression in the mid game with his early bio tank pushes as well. So we'll see if that trend continues into the ace match, or if he slows things down. Yeah. We shall see. From here we have our standard openers. Once again, both games we've seen Solar embrace heavy Hydra play, both game 1 and game 2. That should be a sign of things to come, and we should be seeing Cure embrace a more like tank heavy mid game. We shall see. Cure pokes in. Pokes in, pulls away. We do have our third CC behind this, building up in towards the standard mid game. So far, so good. Delays the third. Yeah, I'm getting deja vu. Remember last night when Cure was just on top of that third, fourth, and fifth base time and time again, but this time again we're slowing things down. Oh, hello, as Solo goes for a very fast Evo chamber. Now, this could be one of two things. Either fast +1 carapace to rush into early carapace and into early +2, or fast +1 melee, which we have seen out of Solar. I'm not entirely convinced by the early +1 melee, I'll be honest, but we have been seeing it a little bit more in recent weeks. There we go, carapace. This makes more sense. So what's the advantage? What's the point of +1 carapace? This is ideal against a heavy bio play, as we are opening up Viking once again, 3 games in a row. Huh. 3 games in a row going for the Viking. Are we going to be hiding tech again? What's the plan exactly? But typically this is ideal against bio, just because when it comes to Marines, they have a really high attack rate, and the +1 carapace upgrade does apply to every single hit. Cloak was revealed for a moment, is cancelled. Hellion pokes in. Sorry, the Ling pokes in. Gets a scout off. Overlord moves in as well. Viking not quite in position. And Solar, he will get a scout of the main. He does confirm Cloak, but I believe that should be cancelled. Reveals all the Raxes, reveals the bio. Curie does come into the mineral line, gets one. Yeah, one drone and pulls away, respects the Zerglings. Overlord goes down, and we'll see if Cure cancels. Solar is building up. So far just checking each other. Curie does try to find a way into the natural, Lings are in position. Curie does not get in. And yeah, once again, early Hydras. We've been seeing this every game. Like, we've gotten here in a different way, of course, but still a heavy Hydra play out of Solar, which means +1 range, not +1 melee. It has been his go-to, with mixed results. Again, going into Hydras is a little bit more larva efficient. True. It does mean you can get away with like a later 4th base and a later like macro hatchery. Injects aren't as important as with Ling Bane specifically. It's definitely piquing my interest, just how heavy Soul's been relying on this. We've been seeing this a little bit out of Shin, like a little bit, and a little bit out of Raynor, but they don't rely on it as much as Soul does. I think there is some added versatility here just because of the all-ins that become available. Speaking of, Soul is making 20 links behind this. He might just hit with 1-1. Again, with the early +1 carapace, that means he has really fast 1-1 upgrades kicking in. Solo, he's cutting workers. Yeah, 5 Overlords on the way. And he's not droning, as we assumed here. 4th base just for Larva is going for the 3 base all-in. Now, I did really like this last game because it was a reaction to the failed Hellbat aggression. Here it's not a reaction, it's just a straight up build choice here from Solar. He's moving out. He's moving out across the map. Tank's already setting up for a cure. Does with the army. Cure's aware. Ooh, Ling's getting shut down. Yeah, Ling's get caught out. Hydra exposed. And the Hydra still step in. Can he get the tank? He can. Yeah, tank goes down. Nice pickoff. He's gonna keep going. I'll pick up there by Cure. Saves the tank, gets over the high ground. Very nice. Yeah, the tank does set up. Lings, they do flood into the mineral line. They head into the 3rd. They at least try to. Ooh, no high ground vision though. Just free damage. Yeah, free damage out of these tanks, and Soul is being forced back. Yeah, he's being zoned away. Vayliness here has been thrown down. That tells us the Solar believes that he cannot kill. He tries to rotate. Does catch one of the factories at least. But Marines, they can just stim in. Yeah, they can stim and they can win. They can just overwhelm the Hydras. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, a couple of boys are being pulled to tank. 13 SCV kills, but these are expensive losses for Solar. And Solar is going to lose everything. No, get out of here. Yeah, some rough trades out of Solar. Losing Houndy, losing 30 Hydras. The Hydras go down. Solar, he tries to rotate. Does pick up some more SCVs. But again, he will lose these Hydras. He has to get out of here. So he tries to pull away. Solar now starts to join, but remember, Solar, he was all in. This was an all-in, and the all-in has failed. Solar's being outscaled. We have 2-2 on the horizon. 4 CC has been thrown down. And Cure just commits. Does commit. He does have a nice tank count. I'm a little bit concerned that there aren't enough Marines. Yeah, he pulls away. Cure pulls away. Let's consolidate his army. Once again, there are some nice tank positions here on the high ground. Cure's moving in. He's got 5 tanks. Oh god. No, yeah, the Hydras are within range. Lings are trying to come in from behind. Lings are shut down. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Solar is broken. The all-in did fail, and Cure will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Solar here. Again, I really did enjoy his build and his response in game number 2, going for the Ling Hydra all-in. Here we saw it prepared much earlier. This explains why we saw the early +1 Carapace, also the early 1-1 timing with Hydras, and he did initially catch the army in the center of the map, but unfortunately we saw that there was no high ground vision, there was no Overseer. Right? There were no Overseers with the army, so the tanks on the high ground were brutal there for Cure. They defended very nicely, very well, and we saw that Solar did overextend. He did overextend, pushing into the third base. He lost 30 Hydras in that push, in that all-in, and that was game. That was game then and there. There was no recovering after those losses. GG. GG, well played. With that, Kira does claim the series, and with that, we are going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a short break here. We have 2 series left. We have the lower semifinals, and we have the grand finals as well. After the break, we should have our next series. It's going to be a PvT between Classic and Percival. We'll see you soon. See you soon after said break. See you soon.